You're now listening to the Palmetto Dugout Show, hosted by State Director Sammy Esposito, Associate Scouts Drew Stewart and Sean Smith, that discuss all things related to amateur baseball in South Carolina. Here are your hosts.
Welcome into episode 27 of the Palmetto Dugout Show. I'm Drew Stewart here with Sammy Esposito. What's going on, Coach?
Coach, how we doing? Just a lot of action floating around in the house right now, but it's all right.
You got a lot of action going on. Hey, we got the PBR staff now has the PBR fades, new PBR haircuts, the PBR SC fade.
Beginning of the year high school fade. Here we go.
Yeah, that's right. And then we'll grow it out and cut it again in playoffs. But so hey, we got a bunch of stuff to jump to. We're going to jump in and out of this stuff. But first thing we got is we have some spotlights coming out, Coach, from recent events. So what kind of spotlights are coming out?
Yeah, we're going to kind of spotlight a bunch of players that really kind of stood out to us over the preseason All-State North and South. We'll pick a day and kind of give an underclassman and an upperclassman spotlight off an event in the North, and then we'll pick another day later in the week to do one on the South, kind of give those guys some love that stood out and did some good things. And a lot of the times, right, we talk about a lot when we do our quick hitters, we do some of our stories posts. We can't talk and touch on everyone or it won't become a quick hitter, it'll be long hitters going on there. So, we'll kind of do these spotlights of some guys that really stood out and performed well and caught an eye during the event. So look for those coming out. We'll try to, each day we do one of those, we'll have an underclassman and an upperclassman one to go along with those.
Content, Coach.
Content.
Gotta do it. Hey, this is a very big week in the state as Division I baseball gets underway in this state with opening weekend coming up this coming weekend. But there's been baseball being played, right, Coach?
A lot of baseball being played. I mean, we forgot to mention it last week on the show. It slipped our mind. We had so much going on, but want to congratulate and wish everybody the best of luck. That's already started in Division II, in junior college baseball, and along the way that's happened already. A lot of great baseball's already been played. A lot of teams have made some big noise across the country already. So it's a lot of good stuff going on right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Mr. Stewie might be in attendance this weekend to watch the Tigers take on can't remember who they're playing, Coach. Binghamton, maybe. So we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Outside of I think looking at some schedules of Division I baseball, I think College of Charleston has Virginia Tech coming into town, open up in that big field. A lot of baseball going on at home right now. But it'll be a lot of fun going on to watch these teams kind of see which way they're going and get it cranked up and get it rolling.
How about that field at the college?
God, that looks good. That turf looking. Speaking of Rihanna.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Shine bright like a diamond coming on here.
Oh, Coach Holbrook got it rolling down there. And new turf. Got that new video board. Look at it.
They got that thing ball Cougs on top down there. They're rolling, so top. it'll be a lot of fun. It's always fun, right? Everybody's beginning of the year. Everybody's got a hype, got a lot of promise going on, and I think we joked about this the other day when we were talking about some of these preseason rankings that come out across college baseball. Somebody's got to finish first in their league. Somebody unfortunately has to finish last. I think everybody right now has the hopes. It's a great time. Everybody's 0-0. So it's 0-0 and nobody's got a loss. So they're all fired up. But at some point in time, some fan base is going to be angry when they lose a game, but it'll be all right. We'll see how it goes. A lot of baseball.
Sink in at some point.
really, really fast.
Hey, but it's another big day for the state of South Carolina in terms of the PBR high school rankings coming out. National rankings came out today with I'm going to do it again. The Land Sharks coming in at number 16 in the country, Coach, in the country. Big time.
A lot of talent on there, right? You look at those rankings across the country, right? I mean, obviously California, Florida, Georgia kind of litter across that. But, for little old South Carolina to get a to get a team ranked in the top 25, I think some other publications out there couldn't even give any of our boys any love, but nationwide. But, for us to be able to get OCA, for them to slide in there in number 16 means a lot. Heck, I think they got 16 Division I players, I think it was.
It feels like.
eight or nine Division I players. But I think one of them we found not even going to be one of the better players in the country. Couldn't even not even on the varsity team, right?
Wow.
How about that?
Wow, Coach.
I mean, talk about talent and depth. Whew. Be tough.
Hey, they are at the Shipyard PBR Showdown too, so watch out.
Watch out now. Opening night, boy. Watch out now.
Woo, we're going to get to that in a little bit. Hey, but that's not the only rankings that came out, Coach. We had those Atlantic Coast rankings with Oceanside taking the top spot, with those rankings being South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland, right, Coach?
Yeah, kind of that Atlantic region in there, right? A lot of good baseball, and with OCA being able to come in number one, North Carolina, right? A lot of great baseball states in this area, a lot of great baseball teams, a lot of players that come out of there. OCA comes in there at number one, but we also can't forget about Berkeley comes in at number 10.
At 10.
Somerville comes in there and comes in there at number 11. And hold up now, we cannot
the
Fighting Hallets come flying in there, coming on the back one of there. Obviously, they come in there at 23, I believe it was, but they one of the better high school teams year in and year out comes across. So they're exciting baseball, exciting amount of talent in the state to watch, and it's kind of for us, it's good to finally get those guys to see that pub, not only here at home but regionally and also nationally.
Yeah, no doubt. Gonna be fun to see those guys this year. The Stags, watch out! Look at the Green Wave, son.
Ooh, there's gonna be a battle down there.
Green Wave might have hated us for a while, but hey, look at them.
They did not. I muted myself. Oh. They did not like us one bit last week when that stuff came out.
No, they were hoping they'd be like 2 or 1. Hey, but they got a chance to get to number 1, Coach. I think they play both squads.
They do. We'll find out real soon. How it goes.
Hey,
then Power 25. Hey, right or wrong, right? It's which way is it going to go? Only time will tell. A lot of teams with a lot of hype early on fold, and teams that had nothing come up to the top.
We saw that last year, Coach, with that initial Power 25. Had some guys ranked high, and what happened? Pew!
Plummeted
out.
And we won't release our Power 25 every week or two, but we'll give it a little bit of time, especially early on, right? We were talking about this the other day. Some teams play really, really tough non-region teams early on, right? And they might take a couple L's here and there, and doesn't mean they're a bad team. That just means they played a great schedule. So we'll kind of wait a little bit longer, release, let some teams play some region games and kind of battle it out, kind of really see where they're at, when it all shakes out, and try not to give some of these rankings to, maybe a week or two, not try to give these guys a chance to fall quick if they lose a tough game early on.
Yeah, no doubt. And we got some tough games early in the Shipyard PBR Showdown, which we're going to jump in right now. 4 days of action, 3 days of pool play, with our first day being on Thursday, March the 2nd, which feels like it's been a long way out, but it'll be here before you know it, Coach.
Be here fast.
So that'll
as long as that wind ain't blowing fast down there, we'll be all right.
Oh, if the wind's blowing, I'm gonna look like an Eskimo. So don't ask me to run around the field because I'm not gonna be up and move very much. But we'll kick that off about 11 o'clock that Thursday on March the 2nd. So we're going to just talk about some big games for us in each day. And I'll go ahead and start this sucker off, Coach. Big game is 6 o'clock. I believe it's at 6, is it not? I have to double check here. Let's see. We're at day 1. Yep, it's 4 o'clock. I'm sorry. 4 o'clock, the last game on Wando River Field puts the Powdersville, number 15 Powdersville Patriots versus the number 20 Ashley Ridge. Already a huge game in itself because I think we can probably figure out who Ashley Ridge is going to throw on the mound Thursday night. One of the premier arms in the state of South Carolina, and Chase Stryker, going to run his fastball. Let's hope it's gets up to a mid-90. But we'll say he'll be at that low 90 mark, higher 80s, which will be big to see. But Powdersville is going to counter with probably, I'd venture to say, Eli Hudgens, who's going to be mid to upper 80s, but really good control with off speed. So I think that's going to be a really good game, considering what Powdersville has coming back. I think me and Sammy have both picked the Powdersville Patriots to win the 3A Upper State Championship. But
no pressure, boys. No pressure.
Coach Padgett, no pressure to you. So we'll see. But Coach Bellish will have those guys ready to go with Ashley Ridge as well.
Yeah, big game right there you picked right there. I mean, obviously we were talking about this before we got on here. It's kind of hard to pick some of these teams, some of these games that were going in there. But I'm going to kind of go with the nightcap, opening day. Obviously, as you call them, I got to go with the Sharks over here. So Land Sharks with Oceanside versus Riverside. Bunch of sides going on that opening night. But, Riverside, Coach Pettit's going to have them boys going, an older team with some good young guys on there, but they got some guys that can really swing the bat, some talented players. It's kind of, had some coaches up that way kind of tell us like this has kind of been their year. And I think I went on a limb and kind of picked those guys to do something big time. If I remember correctly, I don't know. So we'll find out opening night. Obviously, we've touched on Oceanside and the talent and the ability they have down there in Charleston area. But it's going to be a lot of fun to watch those teams crank that thing up 6:30 down there in Deaton's Field. So it's going to be, again, hopefully the weather's not too bad. Hopefully the wind's not too shaky. But either way, as long as the rain stays away, we'll have some good baseball that night.
No doubt it's going to be another big one, Coach. But I'm just going to repeat kind of what you said because I'm going with day 2 here. And I'm looking at another big game at 1:30 just right after I eat that brisket quesadilla given to me by none other than Eddie Tisdale. So that's going to be delicious right before we kick off this 1:30 game with Land Sharks and the Powdersville Patriots. Staying right there. I think that's another big game because Powdersville has another arm that's going to be mid to upper 80s. And then, Oceanside, they've got 20 Division I baseball commits. And then they got,
I
think they got 5 Division I commits on the JV baseball team. So that's just in itself right there. But I mean, let's be honest here, but I think it's a good game. Coach Padgett at Powdersville likes that underdog role as I've seen in the past. So I think that'll be a game that's much closer than what people expect.
Yeah, and sticking to that 1:30 slot, game I'm going with, and if you eat too many of those brisket quesadillas, you might be laying down up top.
I won't be able to run between each field right now.
You won't be bouncing. Hey, good thing this year, multiple scouts covering for PBR South Carolina.
Better content this year.
So better content, but Coach Stewie will be able to relax and won't be as running rampant across the
I don't know if I'd use the word relax.
maybe not as crazy this time. But
yeah.
I'm going to stick at that 1:30 and touch a little bit on Riverside already, but they're going against the Wando Warriors. Coach Thomas down there in Wando, obviously always a great program, produces, talented players year in and year out. Got some really good young talented players with some older guys in there. So it's going to be fun to watch those guys kind of come out. And, I know they're probably, my guess, I can't speak for those guys, but my guess is they're probably a little tired of hearing about Oceanside.
Yes.
And I think the Wando Warriors want to be able to come out this weekend and kind of let everybody know, what's going on down there in that Mount Pleasant area and let them know that they're reigning. So it'll be fun to, big battle in game 2 and fun to see if those guys can beat up on each other over there.
Wando's always got a talented squad. I remember them whipping up on Legion last year in that tournament. Very unexpected as Legion threw their ace. So you never know. High school baseball, anything happens, Coach.
That's why you play the games, Coach.
That's why you play the games. So we're hopping over to day 3 here. And my game, a little different game here. It's at 12:30, right after that brisket quesadilla. And that is Lugoff Elgin and James Island. James Island coming in at number 9 in the Power 25. Coach Spivey always has a great squad at James Island, as we see year in and year out. Stowe Rogers, Keeler Osborne, Jacob Ammon, really good guys, right? We've seen them at many events, but they're going to continue to play very well together. And I think they've got a chance in this tournament, Coach, just based off how Coach Spivey coaches that squad at James Allen. But you look at them, look at Lugoff Elgin, right? Always a scrappy bunch. Always seem to get the job done when it matters. I think they beat – I can't remember who they beat at the end of the year last year or end of the Shipyard PBR tournament, but I think it was a big win for them. They got Caleb Evans and Jake Morris, who's going to Clemson, Kobe Evans going to Coker. So those are two big guys for them. Jake swinging it well at the plate. We'll see when he pitches that tournament, but that'll be another arm to follow in that tournament.
No doubt. Kind of bring good mentality, those boys from Lugoff, to come on down to the beach and kind of whip up on some people right there. One for me on day 3 kind of sticking out. Obviously, Legion Collegiate kind of is who they are, and their players kind of stick out, and everybody, they're not part of the high school league, but obviously it's a team we know a bunch of, and they came down last year and had some guys. I mean, obviously from a talent perspective, they're going to have players kind of all over the place, with on the mound or in the batter's box. And we've had a good amount of those guys we've got a chance to watch this preseason, and obviously over the years, get to face off against kind of a school that's on the up and up down there. Another team down there in the Mount Pleasant area, but Lucy Beckham, right? We got a chance to watch a handful of these guys, more than a handful of these guys down in the preseason All-State South. Coach Law over there has kind of reached out to us and asked it, and we said, hey, bring them out. And he had those guys come out, and they all perform well. So we're ready to see those guys in game situations. We got a chance to watch them in the showcase, and they all stood out and performed well. But we're excited to watch them lace it up and see how they perform against some top teams. But they match up on game 3 against Legion. It'll be a fun one to watch those guys running around against them.
Coach, I think someone took them as their dark horse.
Oh, maybe I did. Hey, if they come out in the good end, then I took them. If not, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was on something.
That's why they're called a dark horse, right?
You're blind. You just feel it for something in. Hey, so we got to pick a winner here. I know who you're picking, so I'm going against the grain here just because I think the way pool play is set up, that I think they have an easier road to the championship, and that is the Lancers of Legion. I think Devin might throw off a little bit, and I think it'll be LCA in the championship game.
Land Shark.
But I think the Lancers are going to throw a dude. I hope it's Will Spain. But we'll see.
Ooh, watch out for that breaking ball
against the Land Sharks, and that'll be excuse my language, but one hell of a game.
I like your pick. I think it's good. I just think it's wrong. It's just hard for me to go against the defending champs down there, OCA. They're bringing that trophy back, or I guess back. I guess they're going to bring it out of the closet down there because it's their home field that they play out down there. But I just think that talent and them, it's a bunch of guys that won it last year, and they're going to want to repeat. And they know, they kind of know everybody's coming after them down there. It's kind of a lot of schools that they're not going to play during region play are going to come out and want to put it to them. So I think those guys they want to show everybody that they're as good, as what everything's shown out there in the media, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. People
you live up to the hype.
Yeah, some people are reading their press clippings. Everybody thinks they're so good, and they lay a bunch of eggs. I don't know. We're about to find out.
Hey, here's the question. Does Taggart Tyson take home the reigning MVP of the championship game trophy? Watch out now.
Easy now.
That was the MVP last year. Or does I'm going to say Devin Parks wins MVP. Watch.
Devin Parks for the MVP. It's not like you're going out on a big limb there on a talent perspective thing there. I mean, Devin is obviously one of the more talented players, not in our state, but the country. So you really got to pick him, Coach.
Hey, but you got to make controversial picks, Coach. I mean, I'm sure I'll probably get a text from Taggart Tyson, Cameron Seabuck, a bunch of them at OCA saying, why'd you pick those guys? I'm going to say, just prove me wrong.
Bulletin board material. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for. We're here for a little bulletin board material.
That's the only reason we create this podcast.
100%. We just want to get some people talking, right? Hey,
yeah,
bad content's good content.
that's right.
Hey, it's how it goes. It's better no content.
We can't wait. But remember, we got another big one with Steve Sanders that weekend before, in which Stewie and Mr. Austin Smith will be covering. So that'll be another big one to see all of those teams up there in the Spartanburg area, as they have a lot of talent up there as well. So with that, I think you got anything else, Coach, or I'm going to hop with some shout-outs here. I got one.
No, let's get a little shout-out.
Okay. Sammy has no clue what I'm about to say here.
No.
I'm going to give a special shout-out to our graphic intern and Blake Laria. He's produced a bunch of graphics for us, which will be released here soon. As always, they look great because, he's a part of PBR South Carolina now. So we'll start to release. They are Shipyard graphics, so we'll start to release those on Thursday with one team a day, with our general graphic coming out. What would have been podcasts will be out after this graphic comes out. So Shipyard will be released. High school previews coming out too soon, Coach, right?
They are starting up. Yes, we're gonna get high school previews coming out, along with obviously our previews for like you just said, with the teams from the Shipyard. So we'll kind of have a multiple thing going on with those guys. Also, another shout out to another new member that's going to be helping us out that you didn't know about. Ethan Mann is going to be helping us out. Big E, as I joked with him, called him Easy E. I don't know if you like that or not, but that's what we're going with.
Easy E.
So Easy E, Ethan Mann is going to be helping us this spring. He helped us in the 2 preseason all-state events, and he's going to be helping us out. So picking up a couple guys. Obviously, we lost the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah,
Sean
we
Smith,
had to hire 2 to cover one Sean.
to barely cover one Sean. So I don't know. We're gonna put him to work a little quickly with some of these events and kind of show him the ropes. But we'll have another newcomer floating around with us at some high school games. He's not as much as the graphic side, but he'll be doing a little bit more of the scouting side and kind of the route he wants to go into when it's all said and done.
Hey, PBRSC to the top.
To the top.
Hey, we pictures. Make sure I will reach out here as they are slowly going into what we call Smug Mug. Sponsor it's by Stewie Media. Sponsor. Yeah,
what do we got? We're going to sponsorship. We're going to be just like Nick Saban.
They scan the QR code here. It'll take you to PBR South Carolina's website. Hey, but we got pictures going out here soon from preseason All-State South and North. If you want your pictures as soon as possible and you're watching this podcast, just reach out on social media.
Lots of photos, right? I mean, like
too many,
lots.
Coach. Too many.
Too many. I mean, it took you a little bit too long to do a lot of work.
Yeah,
but
it takes a lot of work, guys.
We had maybe the greatest photographer of all time, Josh Jackson. Another shout out as he's getting ready to crank up his senior year was down there snapping away. So he did an incredible job, and those guys, got a bunch of great action photos for guys getting, put on social media or however else they want to use them.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Shout out to Rihanna. You know what I mean? Bringing it back. I know some of you youngsters don't really know much there, but
hey,
it's pretty good.
That was the good times. What are you talking about? Back in high school.
Almighty.
Hey, well, Coach, I think that does us here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below here, so you can stay up to date on all things Palmetto Dugout Show. As we release one every week. Some big shows coming up. I think we got to get into some rankings here soon. Player rankings. So always fun for us.
Coming back out, boys. 23s, 24s, 25s, 26 come a little later. But we're going to try to get some of these the older upperclassmen out a little bit. Hopefully, knock on wood, before the high school season starts. So we'll see what happens.
Coach, we'll get it. This 2-man crew will get it done.
To the top.
To the top, always. So from all of us here at PBR South Carolina, have a great week.